Today, for the very first time, I will be checking out my very first ever Protest the Hero album. I have no idea what these guys sound like, other than that this guy over here has talked to me about them multiple times over the year. So, this is their new album called Within or Witness?
Within.
Within. Sorry, yeah, Within. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. My name is Patrick, and this is, as I said, my very first time listening to Protest the Hero, believe it or not. I have with me two guests today. Chris Parker's over here, Chris Schoenberg's down here, and they have joined me with this because they are for this video because they are both Protest the Hero fans, and I have to say, I know nothing about this band. I didn't do any prep for this video. I just wanted to go in totally cold and blind. And so all I know about this band is what Chris Parker, you have told me over the years.
I swear we've listened to them once or twice.
It's possible you may have played one of their songs when we were doing the music room. So that would be 10 plus years ago now at this point. And I don't remember listening to it. In my head, I may have heard one of their songs.
Patrick, if you listen to a song 10 years ago and you don't remember how many choruses there were in it,
well
I'm actually kind of shocked.
I was going to say, I think one of the things that I do know about this band is that they don't, probably they don't hold to song structuring the way that I would like most bands to. I could be totally wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised listening to this if there are no choruses and if it's a lot more progressive. I don't really know why I think that. I was going to say, I don't know if there's any Protest the Hero songs on any of those soundtracks from the early 2000s, late 90s that I talk about all the time on the channel here.
No, probably not.
If they had anything in the Headbangers Ball or any movie soundtracks like The Cave or some of those the Saw movies, they all have really heavy metal stuff on their soundtracks that were never used in the movies.
Their first album was from 2005, so I don't
2005?
think
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be on some soundtrack maybe, but I don't recall hearing them other than, like you said, if we listened to a song on the music room. And
I think we might have listened to a song at the studio.
it's possible. You may have shown me that, but I don't remember stuff. Earlier this year, last year, we listened, Chris Schoenberg and I listened to a Ghost album. We did a reaction to the band Ghost, and he assured me that I had heard their first album many years ago, and I have zero recollection of that.
I have a very strong recollection of that. It was at your house in Omaha
with Austin. Right. You told me that, and it blew my mind because for anybody watching,
that was the first time I listened to it.
Yeah. So, because Austin was a fan of them, he had found out about them and he showed us. But for anybody watching this, if you're new to the channel, welcome. But I generally have a pretty good memory for stuff like this. I remember, I am very good with music stuff, and I know where all my 4,000 CDs are in my house, exactly where they are, and everything like that. And I'm pretty good with remembering music, having only heard it a couple times. I can't sing the song for you, but I remember that I heard it. So anyway, my whole point is just that I really don't know anything about this band, and so I'm excited to hear what they sound like. The fact that Chris Schoenberg agreed to do this reaction tells me that they are at least some sort of a band.
The real ones on the Discord know.
Yeah.
If I'm on here, this is a real video.
Seriously, so I'm not expecting much la la, goo goo, hey hey, na nas in this. I am expecting, based on just what I remember Chris Parker telling me when we were doing the music room, and then we've talked about them here on the channel a couple times when we just bring up certain things. I think they may have had an album. When is their last? Okay, hold on. Let me actually look up the band and get their album pulled up and check out their discography. So while I'm doing that, Chris, I believe Chris Parker, you Pimple Set or whatever it's called.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit, sure. You're a big fan of this band, though, right, Chris? So, you tell me what you think I should know before we listen to this.
Well, I don't know if things I think you should know.
I was just going to say
just a little, somewhat inexplicably, their previous album was 6 years ago, which is couldn't be further from the truth in my mind.
It seems more recent to you.
2 years tops.
Now, was this the band that did that thing where they released one song a month on their like?
I think maybe at one point they did that. Yeah,
I remember us talking about
very regularly.
Talking about that at some point, but I don't know if it was this band or not.
I will say one thing that is funny to me. I saw them live in 2014, I think, over in Spokane right after I moved out here. They were touring for the album Volition, which is really fantastically good.
Okay.
And then I didn't see them again until like last year. Must have been 2 years, better not have been 3 years ago. I think it must have been 2 years ago at this point. But they were touring for the 10-year anniversary of that album. So I've only seen them twice, and it was the same album
for that
times.
album. Okay. Interesting. Now, as I look at their discography, I just have it pulled up on Spotify. I'm just looking at their album releases. I can see that they have an album from 2008 called Fortress, and I have that on CD. I've never listened to it, and for people who are familiar with the channel, you will know that I get hundreds of CDs every year and don't listen to a vast majority of them. I just buy them to have a huge collection. So that's one that I know I have, and I bought it over the last couple of years and never listened to it specifically because I thought maybe we would do some of this band on the channel because I know Chris likes them so much. Mm-hmm. So Chris, why do you like this band? What do they do that you enjoy so much?
Well, you're right about them being relatively proggy. They don't have like the structure that you love so much.
Right.
And I don't know, over the years, it has come to my attention that I like music that changes a lot throughout the course of every song. Mm-hmm. And that's but I could say that it's been so long. I've been listening to them for so long. They might even be like more of a catalyst of that type of structure rather than a symptom of it or whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
Fortress was the first album of theirs that I came across because of Austin. Mm-hmm. He sent me some video of a very specific thing that I couldn't possibly sit here and try to explain, but I had no idea what it was. And he was like, "Oh, that's this band." And I listened to it, and it was right when I was starting to shift my musical taste. So it's like, hey, I feel like I should hate this, and yet I don't, you know? Mm-hmm. And they do this thing where they have like, the best parts of their songs, every song is like, it just it's like the tiny piece of the song, and you just wish that it would last so much longer, and then it doesn't, which is like a good and a bad thing.
I want to say one of the things I remember you telling me about this band is that they are kind of similar to some of the like really chaotic Japanese metal that we listen to on occasion. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty excited for that. What would you say about their production? Like, would you say they have pretty good productions across their albums, or?
I think production is something that they've struggled with for a long time.
Okay.
The vocals are always right where they belong, and for the most part, it sounds good. But somebody brought to my attention years ago that like the drums are very mechanical sounding, and the cymbals are almost nowhere to be found. And ever since then, I've found that to be true on all of their albums, where it's just like cymbals are mostly just an idea that they had.
Yeah. And we've been talking a lot in recent reactions we've been doing about cymbals a lot, because we find that's a really good way to see how compressed something is. If the cymbals are, it could be a mix thing, it could be a mastering thing, it could be a compression thing. But if something is super, super compressed, sometimes you get super washy cymbals. But it all just depends on how it's mixed. So, okay, that's very interesting. Chris Schoenberg, how do you feel about this band? And why did you agree to do this? Because I was very surprised when you were like, "Oh, I would jump on for that." So,
I don't know as much about them as Chris Parker.
Sure, yeah.
Their singer during COVID, there's this thing, and probably my real ones in the Discord will know. You know who I'm talking about. If you're one of them. This show on the internet called 2 Minutes to Late Night. The guy's name, Guarcinio Hall. That is the guy's character name. It was like a metal show that he did. That was a really cool thing too. Patrick might. 2 Minutes to Late Night.
Okay, I'll look
into
into it.
Patrick enjoyed. But anyway, he did all these covers. And as I understand it, this dude learned how to play instruments during COVID. Like went from 0 to 120 in like no flat. Anyway, he did one. I can't remember. It was probably a Rush song. but he did one with the singer of this band, and I was watching all of those covers that Guarcinio was doing, and I really enjoyed them, and I watched that one, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, I really like this guy's voice, which is an odd thing for me to say. Recollecting. And then I absolutely freaked out and listened to the Pamplemousse Grapefruit record on repeat for about 3 weeks. I could not listen to anything else. And
that's right.
I have not listened to that band since then.
Wait, okay, that's the instrumental version of this band, right? The Pamplemousse thing? Or are you just...
No, I'm making a joke. Because I don't care to learn how to pronounce the name of their
that's fine.
Palimpsest. Well, their album names are always so strange. Like, it's a lot of $5 words.
The album looks stupid, but okay. So, sorry, Chris and I have talked about a band before.
I like their album artwork.
I love the album artwork. The artwork's great. I said this. The names of their albums are stupid. But whatever. Who cares?
Well.
That doesn't
the
matter.
Volition one is the... I have friends that are super into Protest the Hero. I guess Chris Parker being one of them. But but I didn't care. And then I had my and bleep bloop go burr. So.
Well, the only reason I asked about the instrumental thing was because Chris Parker, you and I have talked about a band that you like, that there is also an instrumental version of that band. I don't remember.
That was you and me too.
I know we talked about it with Dream.
The instrumental band is called Haunted Shores, but what's the
yes.
It's Periphery. It's not
It was Periphery, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Polyphia and Periphery both also go bleep bloop. But
Yeah.
Periphery, that Haunted Shores record, I don't really find myself ever listening to Periphery, but that Haunted Shores record I also listened to on repeat for about 2 weeks a couple years ago.
Sure. Yeah, Chris Parker and I did a reaction to the Periphery album that came out this year, and it was my first Periphery album, and it was pretty good. I would be interested in doing more of those, but the production wasn't the greatest. It wasn't terrible for sure, but it wasn't the best. But in terms in terms of talking about this band's Protest the Heroes artwork, though, I really do love the artwork, and I especially do really like the cover of their previous album, the Palimpsest. That one, like with the bull on the front, like going to charge, and then now this one, the ram going to charge. That's actually pretty sweet. And just in my setting up for this video to find the little picture that's over in the corner down here, I found that you can watch a YouTube video of the guy painting the painting that is the cover of this album.
Oh, cool.
So it's a real painting, and it's a very wide painting of this ram and then another dark colored ram going like to butt heads, and the whole thing itself is really cool. So I'm assuming on the vinyl record it's like a gatefold type of thing where you open it and you can see the whole wide picture. But I was kind of like, dang it, and if it was just two of us doing this video, I could have put the wide version of the picture underneath us, but I can't fit that in the video for this. So I put I
can go.
No, you stay here. You'll enjoy this probably a lot more than me, is what I'm guessing. But I really do love the artwork. I think that's really cool. And I just earlier this week or last week reacted to an album solely because of how badass I thought the album cover was. Chris Schoenberg, have you seen the cover of the new Devil Driver album?
Just because I was scrolling through your videos to see what shirt I should wear tonight.
Okay. Did you see it and immediately hate it? Because the reason I asked that, because for one, I know you used to enjoy Devil Driver, and I believe the quote you said to me was, then I looked at the lyrics and realized how dumb it was, or something like that. and if you haven't listened to this new album, it's their heaviest album, from what I gather reading and doing research for it. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's really good. The songs get a little samey from song to song. There's no clean vocals on it whatsoever. There's like 2 songs where he's not super screaming, but they do the thing where they're like, can't have a clean vocal in our metal song, so we'll like make it sound like it's coming from a megaphone 4 rooms over. They do that kind of a thing, and it's only for like 30 seconds in the intro of a song.
What is bro man's name?
Des Fefara.
There we go.
From Coal Chamber initially.
Do you know that Coal Chamber.
Yeah.
I named my last cat. I have 2 cats now, but I had 2 cats before. And when we got the cats, have I told this story on the channel before?
No, I don't know it.
Oh, when I got the last set of 2 cats, they have since passed away. This was over a decade ago. My wife tasked me with naming the cats, and I said, I am going to name them after people I do not particularly care for. And I
I love it. I love it.
So I named one Dez after Dez Fafara. And I named the other one Dave after the real ones know who.
The Dave?
Yes, the Dave.
The Dave.
But the only Dave.
Dave Bautista, of course.
Yes, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so you first of all, you should check out that album. I think it's really, I think you'll probably enjoy it. Chris Parker, you should look into it too. It's very interesting, and it's not. I really love Dez's voice. It's like my favorite part of Devil Driver. But the music is so heavy, and his voice actually matches it. It's really good. But the album cover is, I think, maybe one of my favorite album covers. I love the art style. It's this like neon color. I'll put a picture of it in the video down here when I'm editing. But it looks so cool, and so I looked up the guy who was the artist, and he does this like comic book art and graphic novel art, and he's done lots of Ninja Turtles stuff, and he works with all sorts of things, and I loved the artwork, and so I went and looked it up online, and all I could find was a bunch of reviews of the album saying, well, this artwork is total shit, but at least the album's pretty good. So like apparently in the metal community, they really hate the album cover, which I think is just hilarious because I literally listened to it because I thought the album cover was cool. But that has nothing to do with the Protest the Hero. So let's get back on track. So yeah, I don't know anything about this band. If this is your first time here, what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this entire album from front to back. I am going to click on the album right now and see... Oh, wow, only 8 songs. Okay, wow. Ooh, and I see 2 songs under a minute and a half. But the rest of the songs all look like they're pretty chunky songs, and the final song is 7.5 minutes long. So the whole thing is only 35 minutes. So either this is going to feel very short, or it's going to just be attacking us the entire time that this album can't be too long, or we would die from listening to it. Then again, Chris Schoenberg and I listened to that whole Archspire album earlier this year, and it was longer than this one. And I made it through that.
While you said that.
Yeah.
I was looking through the comments on that video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that somebody, he must not know us. I think he nailed it, though. Mm-hmm. He said this paragraph, glazing Archspire, about how they play so fast, but they're doing art.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he says, Broman on the left or the right, whichever side you were on, talking about you, he said, he's really feeling it. The guy on the other side, me, is just in sheer awe of the BPM. And I felt seen. Like,
hey, that's
good job, dude.
That's great. That means we both did our job in that video. So that's great.
Well, and like,
I
can't, for sure. I have not gone back and I don't think that was the last time I listened to that record, which is kind of sad.
I've listened to it a couple times.
There's a lot of new stuff that I've been listening to.
Sure. Good.
But like, I don't know how I could do anything else. And that was really the first time I'd heard most of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, it was.
Just thinking about it. Like, I was in sheer shock at their awe or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
BPM.
But that was the first time.
Fastest record ever made.
Yeah.
They're the fastest band in the world.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I wouldn't question them at all. Yeah, no, I love doing that. And we had several comments on that video recommending that we listen to Cattle Decapitation and their new album, their most recent album, which
The
I know
most recent one I especially like.
Yeah, I know you have specifically said it sounds really good and you really like it. So if people want us to do that, we can. So I don't know.
Well, because the guy that produced the Archspire has done
right.
Like
you looked it up in the video and you were like, oh, he did Cattle Decap. So like, okay. So the reason I'm bringing some of this stuff up is because I think that Protest the Hero is going to be heavy like that. I don't think it's going to be super fast like that, though I have no idea. So I really don't know what this is going to sound like at all. But just to finish the spiel, we're going to listen to the entire thing from front to back. We'll pause between the songs to talk about them. And then at the end of the video, we will give sort of our overall thoughts. And you can skip to any section of the video you want. Everything will be in the description of the video, including links to all the relevant things. But most importantly, our Discord, where you can go there and you can be one of the people in the know with Chris Schoenberg. You can be one of the guys that knows what he's talking about.
Tag me in the comments. I will respond.
Yep, we will. We're a small enough channel. We're a small enough Discord server so far. Although we are getting close. Hold on. Where'd my phone go? We're getting close. This video might reach a new audience for us, depending on what kind of band this is. But if anybody's watching this video, you're okay. We have 9,953 subscribers right now.
Ooh, okay.
So you guys we need 50 people to get over 10,000. Come on, everybody. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do you have the stats on like how many people watch these that aren't subscribed?
I mean, I'm sure I could find that, but I'm not going to waste the time
Probably
right now.
you. It's probably you who are watching right now. Just go hit the little thumbs up.
Yeah.
These guys are Canadian, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that means they bop. We know that.
I'm only coming on records. I'm only coming on videos with Canadian bands.
Good.
This will be 2 for 2 of my last 2.
Because Archspire
No,
definitely
Metallica.
from. Metallica.
But America and Scandinavia, or wherever Lars is from, it probably averages out to Canada.
Denmark, apparently. Yeah,
There
yes,
we go.
definitely. Too bad he's
It
not
averages
French.
out to Canada.
Too bad he's not French. Okay, track 1. This looks like one of the 2 singles that has been released so far. I do want to say real quick, because I'm a little surprised at this. When I pulled up Protest the Hero right before we started recording, they only have 168,000 monthly listeners, which I'm surprised at. Not because that doesn't really mean anything specific, but I'm surprised because when I look at the amount of plays on this album that has only been out for less than a week, the songs that were just released last week have close to 100,000 listens. Like they're all like around 80,000 or so, which means that a lot of people who follow this band are listening to it, which is not generally the case that we normally see here. Usually if a band has like 1 million followers, they'll have like 100,000 listens after a week.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm saying there's more plays than I would think on this for the amount of people following this band. So that
Their
surprised me.
conversion rate is very high.
Yes, which is really what you want as a band nowadays. You don't need 1 million fans. You just need 1,000 super hardcore fans. And if you can have more than that, that's great. So, okay, let's just listen to this and then we'll talk about whatever it is. I'm excited and trepidatious. Track 1 is called Mouthpiece. In 3, 2, 1. Whoa. I did not expect clean vocals at all.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, let alone like Coheed and Cambria style. Okay. Okay, I can tell right away why Chris Schoenberg would agree to be on this reaction. Because they're deedly-deeing on the guitars.
Can you see why this is a band Austin loves?
Well, whoa. Oh my gosh. This is Metal Ludo.
That's a great thought. That's a really great thought. It totally is. And they're very goofy too. Like
Yeah, it's very theatrical, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. I don't know if that was like a huge concert bass drum or something that hit at the beginning of this, but big deep low thing.
I was going to ask, and then I wanted to just see myself if there would be anything in the mix or anything in the song other than guitar, bass, drums, vocals. And other than the intro so far, I'm not hearing any keyboards or anything
They
like
do
that.
have synths occasionally.
Okay. Snare drum has like no high frequencies to it. But it's okay, it's in there. I actually like the kick drum. It's very precise sounding.
Yeah.
That vocal sounds weird. Like untreated, right? It sounds like one of you are doing it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like it's like fitted into the mix.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, right, I kind of like it. Yeah.
Because the high vocals is what dude does, and
Yeah.
like then go and
Right, so that really stands
Oh,
out.
they're doing screaming now.
Yeah.
I wish Chris wouldn't have said that thing about the drums before we started listening.
About the what?
The drums?
But you said like the drums sound stiff or mechanical or something.
Oh, yeah. Did it ruin it?
I think the sounds of the drums, it sounds like a real drum recording. Like it doesn't sound sampled and stuff.
That's good.
Or at least they're not using... Ooh. There's like a white noise in there. With the... In the middle, like... So this is the first vocal we've gotten from the singer that's just one track, no overdubbing. Okay. There's a tambourine in there, I think. For a second there.
I heard that.
I thought it was an acoustic guitar at first. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll pause it. We'll pause.
What was that high frequency percussion thing at the end? Was that a hi-hat or was that a tambourine?
I was wondering that too.
Well, I thought the tambourine, if it was in fact a tambourine, I thought it was acoustic guitar, and it was only in that, I don't know.
It was like two hits.
Yeah, it was like a pattern thing, and maybe it wasn't. It could have been a cymbal or something even too. But I thought at first it was a tambourine, and then I thought, no, that might be acoustic guitar. But then I thought, no, it makes more sense to just be a tambourine. And then I thought, well, maybe it's some sort of a ride cymbal or some sort of a washy sound that's happening because of some compression or something being done on the drums, maybe. I don't know, but so that was so not even remotely at all what I was expecting, which is, I'm sure, based on what we were talking about, you're like, oh man, Patrick's got this band totally wrong. So, but it's funny we mentioned Periphery, because the thing that I had on my mind the most when we were listening to that was probably Periphery. Periphery, a lot slower, more groovy for sure. Although, and this was a lot, I guess, yeah, I would say groovier, like more of a groove metal type thing. Mm-hmm. But the vocals for Periphery, I compared them to, we compared them to Chester and to the guy from My Chemical Romance a couple times when we were doing that video, and his harshes were different. This was like pop punkier, I would say, with the vocals. And there were a lot of layers on it throughout the song, with the exception of that bridge part. So that was very interesting. At the beginning, when I said, I understand why Chris Schoenberg would join us for this, was because they were doing lead guitars. They were doing actual, like, dun 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 type stuff. They were diddly doing, which most of the metal, to be fair, Chris and I listen to here on the channel there's not much lead stuff ever. It's just that's not what the function of the guitars is. And so very interesting, very cool. And definitely I could see Austin loving this band. Because Austin, I know no one watching the channel knows who Austin is, but he was my roommate for many years, and he is a drummer, and he really likes complicated drumming patterns, and he liked very complicated technical metal music a lot. Yeah. And so I could see him really enjoying this type of a thing. So yeah, very interesting. Not what I thought it was going to be at all.
How do you feel about the vocals? Because it is, I think, in the register or the range where you would normally not be a huge fan.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I first heard him start to sing that way, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just the type of vocals that Chris likes so much, which is so funny. But which you do the same thing for me whenever there's a German guy going, you're like, oh my God, what a Patrick vocal. So, but I didn't mind it. And nice. I think I'm growing to appreciate vocals like that a little bit more slowly. One of the things that I have been really surprising myself with over the last couple months is I've been listening to more metal that's kind of steering just a tiny bit more towards like power metal stuff. And so I'm getting more of the like crazy, outrageous, high register like stuff. And this is way different than that. This is a completely different thing. But I think my ability to appreciate that stuff a little bit more has opened me up to different styles of vocals I would have maybe written off right away. Now, when we're reacting to a full album, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I refuse to listen to that vocalist because I want to make it through the album. But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. The only thing is, I do think there were too many overdubs. Like there was just too much of it. It was like 3 vocal tracks almost the entire time. And then when he did that harsh thing a couple times, that really stood out in the mix, the way that it was in there. And I really like that. And he wasn't doubling that, I don't think. That was just one crazy take of the guttural growl. But then when I pointed it out,
the doubling has never really stood out to me. I'll have to listen for that.
Well, we were talking about it with the Evanescence reactions recently, and I really noticed that that's one of the things that holds me back from enjoying some of that stuff. You know, and it's something I always notice. And actually, it's so funny because I saw a ad on Facebook today for. There's like a gothic synth industrial band called Aesthetic Perfection that I liked one of their posts like 2 weeks ago. And since then in the algorithm, they've been pushing everything that they push out to me. But one of the things the guy does is he does vocal tutorials online. And I just out of curiosity clicked on some clip that he posted of his vocal tutorials. And the first thing he said in the video was, what are you doing mixing your songs like it's 2010? Why only use one vocal track when you can stack 10 on top of each other? And I was just like
it's 2010. Give me a break.
Well, it might have been 2000. I don't remember the exact year.
Say 1954.
Right. Right, before the Beatles. But I saw that and I was just like, man, that is just not how I feel about it. I feel like if you are we've said this before in many videos, if you are overdubbing your voice so many times, to me, that is just that is a sign of you not being comfortable singing with one track or being talented enough to get the message across just using one track of vocals. Now, that's not always the case. Obviously, and I love layering vocals. It's one of my favorite things to do in my horrid music, and I like it when vocals are spread wide and when they are harmonies, and I've said before, background vocals are like one of my favorite aspects of music, but to just double your voice, I don't know if I ever care for that, being I don't like that, so... Yeah. A way to approach doing vocals. I don't care for doubling a voice. I don't think. I think if you treat one of the takes as a lead vocal and you use maybe one of the other or a couple tracks and you have them be more background, but it is just still a double. It's the same exact part. I can get behind that a little bit better. But if you have basically two lead vocal parts, it's the same exact part, but they're mixed the same, I don't like that. I think that's distracting to me. And it's a confidence thing for the singer. That's what I think automatically. Maybe I'm totally wrong with that. But when I hear that, I think this singer was too self-conscious about his voice to be able to choose one of the takes. And he it's to thicken the mix. It's to thicken the mix is what you're going to see in every person that ever does it. It's to thicken the mix.
I really don't think you lean really hard on this confidence button thing a lot. Every time there's a double track vocal, you always think it's because they're too afraid of having anybody hear them sing just as themselves. Which is so completely absurd.
Sure, but that doesn't mean he's confident with it. And maybe he is. I don't know. I'm just you're right, Chris. I do say that a lot. And But I will say, in every case where I've said that, and you look it up, you're like, oh, Matt Bellamy, oh, he used to suffer from self-conscious issues. Amy Lee, she used to suffer from self-conscious issues, confidence issues. Oh, they don't like to hear what other people think about them, whatever. Now, we also know that once this guy, whoever the vocalist for this band is, goes in and does his takes, he might just leave the studio then, and it's up to some other person to make all the decisions.
I don't think that's the case in this case.
No, I
don't
think they have the luxury of that.
Right. So, but we do know for some bands, they don't have the choice in what's happening with their mix or anything like that. Maybe they just get to okay something at the end. So in that case, it's not their decision. But
his name's Rhodey Walker.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anybody watching the video, what your feeling is specifically on the doubling of vocals and keeping them relatively equally like in the mix. Because I do love harmony vocals, background vocals, shout vocals, gang vocals. I love all that stuff.
Well, the gang vocals were really good.
They do a lot of gang vocals. Yeah,
I thought that sounded really awesome.
I didn't hear any in that song, but I was trying. This is my first time ever hearing this band.
You talked over him several times.
Well, because I had to get my thought. This is my first time ever hearing this band, from my recollection ever, and so I have to tell you what I'm thinking. And now I can pay more attention as we're getting into it. So
yeah,
if you guys want to, let's get to the next song then. This is also potty mouth in there. Lots of swear words in there. I noticed that as well. If you want me to point out stuff that I did notice. Okay, Fishhook, track 2. This is about the same length. In 3, 2, 1.
And there's a driveway conversation.
I love that.
This is very Ludo. I've never put those pieces together.
Well, it's very theatrical, which is the thing I think about Ludo the most. Maybe not the most, but...
This is just straight pop punk. Except the musicians are good.
I do like the shouting background vocals. And you can tell, I think, that there are other members of the band, too, which is, I like that. Ooh, I heard some keyboards in there, I think.
You did.
Oh man, I miss peeves. When I lived across town, he lived across the streets. When the plow went by, he was there with a shovel to dig me out, dig me out, dig me out. Too bad means no big trouble. Dig me out, dig me out. I know you see them as a threat, but try not to forget if you spoke kindness in the world. It's kindness that you get, but when
Ooh. Very cool. Interesting. There was like a string patch in there.
I think it was a reverse guitar.
Okay. Okay. Love the acoustic here.
It sounds really good.
Chris Parker, do you think this is lacking highs?
No.
Okay.
It's hard to affect any major change, but you can change your dating ways. And when I close my door, he goes away. As the conversation in my head replays. And there's no room in his heart for any doubt. 'Cause no one ever helped to dig him out. I'll take you out. There's a conversation in the driveway when I hope I'm having someday with someone different, someone more enlightened. 'Cause I don't want to get old and jaded, arrogant, delusional, and full of hatred, acting like a gift because I can't admit that I am frightened.
Okay, so okay, so I'm formulating my opinion of this band now that because all I talked about last time was what it sounded like. Mm-hmm. What do you guys have to say? Because I talked a lot last time.
That song has nothing to do with why I would ever listen to a Protest the Hero song.
Okay, interesting.
Honestly, kind of same. That's not my favorite song on this album. That's
There
for
was
sure.
there was like so little bleep bloops. I want bleep bloops.
Well, that was
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed too. Like, it felt like there was a section in the song where they were kind of building up almost to like a guitar solo, and then there wasn't a guitar solo. The guitars were doing more technical things, but they just kind of left them where they've been sitting the whole mix without emphasizing them at all. And then that was right when the acoustic guitar came in too. So it kind of felt like the song took a turn that I wasn't expecting it to take there. And I did like that. And since we were talking about the gang vocals last time, I really was paying attention to them in that. I love the gang vocals. I think they're doing that really great. And that adds to the pop punky nature of it too, which is so interesting because when I think of like gang vocals or like gang shouts, the thing that I connect that with the more is like Children of Bodom specifically, but also like the couple times Metallica did it, Trivium does it a couple times, some of the other metal bands that I really enjoy do it. So I think of like shouty gang vocals as more of like a metal thing and not like a pop punky like Sum 41, Blink 182 type of thing. But here it is being presented that way. This is way, to me, there's more. This is like, it's, I never listened to music like this. Like when I was in, well, okay, no, hold on. The bands that I'm thinking of in my head are bands like Sum 41, Blink 182, I guess Good Charlotte. I literally don't even know what bands to say that this is reminding me of because I never listened to bands like that. You know what I mean? Like I never.
This is an outlier though, Chris Parker, right? Like,
Yeah.
does Protest
for sure.
the Hero have a pop punk song on every record?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. This is weird.
Okay, we won't dwell on it too much then, but I did get that vibe in the first track as well. I think the first track was more theatrical though, which is why I jumped to Ludo right away. Which Chris Schoenberg, do you know who Ludo is?
Nope.
Okay, well you should look into him. They're a really interesting band. Not metal at all, so you don't even have to worry about that. But
You
not
have
metal.
little bits of metal in some of their songs in ways you wouldn't expect, but they are not a metal band.
But they're very, very cool. I'll compare them to like Weird Al if Weird Al was like a band.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
the good singer does kind of sound like Weird Al, but they're also not super serious. Anyway, yeah, that song was reminding me of it was making me think of music that I never listened to when I was growing up or when it was super popular, when that style of music was popular. So it's hard for me to like find something in there to grasp other than the thing that was really interesting to me about that does feel very different from anything that I could compare it to is that at any moment when they're doing whatever they're doing, there could just all of a sudden be like like in the guitars, which is
But
not.
it was just
you know,
it was one fill. There was the one lead run up that he did, and he did it like 4 times.
okay.
And that was like the only interesting guitar thing in the whole thing for me. The acoustic guitars did sound very good.
Yeah.
that was, that
Yeah,
was
they were
great.
nice.
Now I was listening to the drums a little bit more there, and when I said in the first song that there wasn't much high frequencies to the snare, what I should have said, I guess, was this snare sounds a lot more hollow sounding, and it doesn't have the like modern crack that like the totally fake synthetic drums that is in all the metal Chris Parker and I listen to. This is totally not that. This sounds more like wooden, realistic, natural, acoustic sounding drums. And, you know, it's as far from poppy as possible, the production of this. Like it is a completely different approach to music, which is very interesting. And also, I don't know if this is the case, but Chris Schoenberg, you can tell me, this is not like in some crazy drop tuning, right? This sounds like higher tuning to me, or like standard tuning for guitars. I mean, I don't know, you don't know what it is, but like it doesn't.
I'm not super locked into that, but it doesn't sound super.
Yeah, they're not doing like breakdown chuggy stuff ever. So like that is also a lot of the metal we listen to on the channel here is more like that. And so this is just like a whole completely different sounding thing to me than what we normally listen to. And because I wasn't expecting this to be so vastly different than what I expected it to be, like it's completely thrown me for a loop. And especially if that song was not maybe very representative of what they are. I don't know. We can just listen to the next song.
I think the snare sounds really good.
Mm-hmm. This whole thing sounds a lot better than I thought.
I would not say hollow. I think the thing, I'm learning some things about the words that you use, and I'm very glad to know all of this.
Okay.
I'm being educated.
Yeah.
But like that snare has a lot of fundamental in it, like a lot of the 200 hertz stuff.
Yep.
It's really, I would say that's really fat, which I don't think you would also say in the same sentence as hollow. And I don't know that it's lacking high frequency. I know that you kind of rescinded that, but
it's to me it's the snap.
There's no strainer. There's very little strainer in it. Or
see, I don't even know what that.
There's
when you
not
say
bottom
that,
it's the snarey thing that makes the snare different than the different other drums. It's the little wires
it's like
on the bottom.
the screen on the bottom.
the
of
actual snares on the bottom of the.
Yeah, some people call them snares, but
well, that's what I called them in high school when I was playing the drums. You piece of. Okay, while you were playing the guitar,
a lot of people also call them strainers.
Okay, but anyway,
but like there's no strainer in it, which I think is what sounds good. And then the sound itself is short. It's either treated so acoustically it's short.
Okay, I see what you mean.
There's not a whole bunch of bong ring, of course, but there's also not a bunch of psh ring.
Yeah.
And then it's dry.
Yes.
Like it's not soaking in reverb.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you mean.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That to me. Yeah, for sure. To me, when I hear snare drums, like if I was making music, I would never have a snare sound like this. I would always have a snare sound more like the totally fake, like really snappy, high frequency, like ksh type of sound rather than the goo of a snare drum. Like I want it to sound totally different than the kick drum. And now it does in this, and I do think I like the kick drum. The kick drum to me sounds very, it also is very short and very, very you know, but it's not like some giant crazy thing, but you don't really hear the beater at all in terms of like there's no like you don't hear the rumbling of the drum head. It's just like a thud, like it's not a thud, it's more of a thump. None of these words mean anything. This is just words.
This is audio. Talking about audio is this right here.
I know. I don't know, Chris. How do you feel about the drums on this? Like, if you've been paying attention to them, yeah.
This all sounds a lot better than I don't want to say remember because I only listened to it once, but just the idea that I've had in my mind of the way that they sound over previous albums, I don't have a lot to complain about here. I think it sounds great.
Would you say this sounds pretty comparable to like the way their other albums are mixed?
Without being able to do a quick A/B, yeah.
Sure.
I don't. It's certainly not a giant departure.
I mean, to me, I just keep thinking of how different this sounds from most of the stuff we listen to. Like when I think of Poppy, I think of like pop. When I say Poppy, I mean the artist Poppy. She's kind of like my go-to because her album's like my #1 album of the year, I think so far. So like when I'm thinking of her a lot, but like When I think of that being a completely different approach to making a heavy album than this. This is this is a completely different approach, and I really like what this is doing. But I don't I got to hear a couple more songs to give more of a definitive like opinion of the band. But like so far, I'm enjoying the mix. I was fighting with myself over whether I thought it was lacking high end overall. But I'm really, after we did our reaction to what album was it, Chris, where we were talking
Muse,
about
probably
Muse. Yeah, that totally threw my. I don't know what to think about it anymore. I really don't. And over the last couple of days, I've had multiple people comment on videos, different ones, but specifically the Paul McCartney video. I had someone comment today saying that they got a copy of the album on vinyl, and they were listening to the vinyl with the same headphones that they listened to our reaction to, and they couldn't believe how different the mix was on the vinyl as compared to the Spotify mix.
Oh, interesting.
Which, shouldn't be a thing, really. I understand that sometimes artists have their albums mastered specifically for vinyl. I don't know if that's something that would be required nowadays. I think you could have the same master for vinyl, for CD, for...
It should be. That is literally the point of mastering.
I understand.
To prepare it for a distribution method.
100%. So I don't know. But then someone else commented underneath that comment saying something about a different album that came out recently. Now, that's Paul McCartney. And then completely separate from that, on the Muse video today, someone started this thread. Or no, it was in our Discord. Someone started a thread in our general channel about the Muse album, and someone was asking what everyone uses to listen to music, and they were talking about how they were listening to an album on Apple Music and on Spotify, and it sounded different to them. But they were talking about how someone was talking to them saying it might have been their settings for that specific app on their computer or their phone. And so that makes more sense to me than it being a different sounding mix. But I don't know. We have talked about that, though, as being an unfortunate thing that could be a reality. But I just don't see why an artist would do that or how it could even work. And when you're listening to something that's lossless...
It could be unintentional. I've had people tell me that there's a huge difference between Spotify and YouTube Music and some other ones that I've never been able to track it. Like I've sat down and I remember when years ago I was testing to see if the losslessness of Tidal was something that I could discern at all. And I sat and I A/B'd on like 3 different devices between Tidal and Google Play, and I could not find anything different about it. But I've also had people tell me like, oh yeah, like I just started listening to this on YouTube Music for the first time and it sounds way different than Spotify. And I'm like, I don't think it does, but I can't argue with you.
This is an audio thing, so we should talk about it for a
second.
Sure,
yeah.
I have heard the difference, but like, I cannot believe when people write like, partially it was because I was at school and the other teacher like was, at least seemed super jazzed about Spotify getting lossless. Mm-hmm. And like, I think that day there was some A/Bing going on, and I have heard that like you can hear the difference between if you A/B it, like even a good MP3 and a CD quality file and a WAV file. But like when like normal people who are listening on earbuds are like, oh my God, like the quality is like so much
not
better.
A chance.
Like, are you
not a chance?
I do not believe it at all.
No.
If I have to sit down on like high dollar monitors and A/B back and forth and like, oh yeah, on the third time you're like, okay, yeah, I can kind of tell that the highs are a little bit cleaner than that. Like there is no way you're hearing that on your car or on your freaking earbuds.
It's
chance. It's not real.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
go back to 128 kilobits per second MP3,
and then you'll be able to hear the difference.
That's how music was supposed to be listened to.
Oh man, that's trash.
Incorrectly meta tagged. Oh yeah. With
like
the wrong
a modern
song
320 versus lossless, sure, we can have that conversation. But 128, man, like you're
I'm kidding. You
that's
can't
the
even hardly
postage
listen to
stamp
a
of audio.
podcast at 128.
Oh yeah. Well, I edit the podcast I've been editing for 14 years. I edited it at variable bitrate of 96 to 128 kilobits.
Ew.
Yeah, but it's just speech.
Vocals, so it's fine.
It's just speech. Yeah. The music sounds
underwater.
terrible. The music sounds terrible at the beginning, but yeah.
Yeah, and I actually noticed that with a lot of podcasts I listen to. If there's any instance of having something musical at all, it becomes a watery mess, and it's like, oh, this is just rendered down to within an inch of its life.
Before we go to the next song, I have another important thing that came to my mind. How old are the people that watch these videos? What are the demographics? I know that they're...
I can look that stuff up, but it would take me a few minutes to like look that up. So,
is it our... It's got to be mostly our age group.
You would be surprised. There's a lot of younger people. A lot of it depends on what we're reacting to. Like right now, we have the most probably like Evanescence people interacting with the channel. Now they might not click on this video.
Don't come to the Discord.
No, come to the Discord. Come to the Discord.
Just stay in the server. Stay in the channel that's built for you and don't go anywhere outside.
We have people there that aren't metal elitists. Okay, we have a variety of people.
We don't have enough metal elitists. So if you are one of those,
that I can't argue with because I do think metal elitists have their place for sure. But just real quick, one last thing real quick on this. And Chris Schoenberg, you can correct me if I'm wrong based on what you know, because you've been in a band and released albums before. Not at like the level of Protest the Hero, but you've done stuff. No offense to you. Obviously, I think you would agree with that, right? Like Primal Waters and Fashionist Rex aren't the level of Protest the Hero.
Just keep talking.
Right, anyway, yes, continue.
Okay. Anyway, the file that is going, the way that this works in the music industry, as far as I understand it, is you get your master, or you have the person who's mastering your album, you get your final master of your album done, and then you send you or the person whoever is in charge of your account sends that single set of master files to a distribution place like DistroKid or something, just as an example. And then from there, they send those exact same files to Apple, to Spotify, to YouTube Music. Like it's the same set of files theoretically being distributed everywhere. Now, it's what those places do to their own compression rates after the fact, but it should be the same set of source files for everything, right? No.
I know. I think that people at my level that don't sell any records that lose money on streaming every year, which is most of you if you release music, that yes, you put the same files up and it goes to all of them and they're all the same except for
Bandcamp.
I hope that everybody's doing this. Bandcamp actually Bandcamp doesn't do loudness shenanigans, so you can send your real actual files up to 0 dB full scale, or whatever, without doing the 14 dB LUFS thing. You can send real files to Bandcamp. But I have heard through things that if you're at a bigger thing, like if you're at a major label, you can send different stuff. You can directly upload stuff to, at least those people can. And more of the streaming services are allowing you to do that. Like with Tidal, you can directly upload music from your phone to Tidal now. I don't know if Spotify is doing that, but on the bigger ones, like major label releases, I have heard from someone that, I've heard this firsthand from someone who has mastered many classic albums that you have heard, and I'm not going to bring up the artist name because it doesn't matter, but for major label stuff, and they told me that they make a tremendous amount of different files to send out, that the label sends a list of all of the different formats they're supposed to do. If the mastering's different or whatever, like you can do that, but you don't have to.
Right.
You can send them all out the same, but like even throughout the streaming services, if you go look at the LUFS requirements or what they volume limit you to, it's a little different. Most of them are 14 dB. YouTube, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music. Maybe Apple Music's a little bit different, but at least those three, I'm 98% sure, are all limited to negative 14 LUFS.
And what you're talking about is just the essentially, this is very simplifying it, but just basically the volume of it, right? You're not talking about different mixes for like a different mix for Spotify.
No, but you could.
Right, you could. If you're going to send different files, you could have a different mix. But I don't know why
somebody's willing to
do
do
that.
the work.
Yeah.
I don't know either. But the quality thing. The reason I asked about the demographics is because you brought up a wonderful pop punk band earlier. And
Blink
we should no.
Sum 41. Yeah, I have never heard any of their albums.
Oh, we need to listen to All Killer No Filler.
Yeah, I mean, I
did that.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to hit the nostalgia button on people our age, Dude, I've listened to that album multiple times in full in the last 6 months.
Really? That's very surprising for you.
It is. I listened to it 5,000 times when I was in high school.
Interesting. I mean, I know the songs they released from it, and I know it sounds phenomenal. So.
The songs are freaking great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know.
What a great band.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That one record especially is fantastic.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's go to the next track and we'll continue on. Okay, so is this just an intro to the next song?
Yeah, there's it's like a little split. 3 is above, 6 is below, and they're both sort of like interstitial bits, so we might as well just do 3 into 4.
Okay, we'll do that then. We'll start with 3 and then we'll stop after Grandfather's Axe. In 3, 2, 1.
It's an interstitial.
I know words.
I know that. It's great that you use it. I know that word. I just never use it right.
This is cool.
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of the soundtrack to a game I can't remember the name of suddenly.
Do we think those are real strings?
I do.
Yeah, I would say it sounds.
I believe them.
Sounds like real. Yeah.
That's a sample, but
yeah.
Unravel is the game I'm thinking of.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Fantastic soundtrack. Just like this.
I always wanted to play that, and I never did. That's when you're the ball of yarn, right? Or the yarn character?
Yeah, little yarn dude.
Yeah, man, I always wanted to play that. I never did. It was never free on PlayStation Plus.
Might be now.
Well, yeah. Till they revoke your license and you can't play physical games anymore.
Well, let me know when that happens.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No high end in any of this. Like this is whacked off at like 8K for sure.
No way.
There's no high frequencies in this.
Because there's no high frequencies in these instruments.
Yeah, you can record it with air in the room. Okay. Much more aggressive so far than anything we've heard. Every time he starts singing, it's so jarring to me. Not in a bad way. Whoa. Very Japanese metal.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Hold on. I'm going to switch my whole perspective on this band now. Yes, this is like anime Japanese metal, 100%. The strings are back.
Disco string.
Ooh, brass. The shout vocals are louder than the lead vocal. Wow, he squealed his voice there.
He's doing considerably, it's like several unique vocal things he's done in this for the first time.
So pretty. His fantastic singer. Oh my god. I forgot the Japanese thing. And now that I'm hearing it, holy crap, is this just Japanese metal? I mean, 100%. Even the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I mean, what the heck?
Super fake synthy brass.
Yeah, probably. The lyrics are very juvenile.
Not all the time. You're just mad that he swears.
Shakers in there. Man, this band is such a weird combination of things. It's so weird. Like, because part of me is like, this vocalist does not belong in this band. That's, I keep fighting with myself over that, but then I'm like, no, I'm just not used to it, you know, and this is the thing that this band is doing, you know, but like, it's so weird. It's so weird because it doesn't feel like it should be technical because you just don't, I don't listen to bands that have vocalists that sound like this very much. But when any band I can think of that's even close to this, it is much more simplified than this, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that more technical equals more better. I'm not saying that. But like,
it does though. It does.
I know you would maybe think that, but like it surprises me. One, this song was a great example. Like it started off and I was like, you know, like I'm like, oh yeah, really groovy, awesome. And then he starts singing and it's like, whoa, what a weird juxtaposition. And then he's singing and you get into it and you're like bopping along and then all of a sudden it's just like, I'm like, oh man, that's so jarringly odd. It's weird. It is. Man, it's just so different from anything I listen to. Just so different. But the big thing for me there was I connected it in my brain made the connection to Japanese metal and I was like, I see I see exactly what is happening here. Like so much of that was reminding me of like the heaviest, fastest stuff that Mook does, which for those of you watching, Mook is one of my favorite bands of all time. They are my favorite Japanese metal band, unless Maximum No Hormone ever decides to release another album. But Mook, I love them and I love their production. They have this very like loose style of playing and it's very technical, but it's so far from being like perfect technical. You know, it's not Meshuggah. It is definitely a looser. It's much looser feeling, I guess. I don't know. That might be a little nebulous way to explain it, but this feels the same way to me. It feels loose. It feels like people are just loose while they're playing, and it doesn't feel very stiff. Whereas a lot of the metal we listen to is like to a grid, notes programmed with a keyboard and mouse, the way I program drums, you know? And so it feels more human in a way that I associate with Japanese metal specifically. And that makes me enjoy it more because I can now connect it in my brain to something that I can relate it to a bit more. So I enjoy that. The vocals are still the thing that is the strangest thing to me, but that song really was a showcase for his vocals a lot.
It was, yeah.
He had like a squeal in his voice that, like while he was just singing the first like half of that song, and I was like, "Oh, that was awesome! That was so cool." And I don't even know if he did it on purpose. I'm sure he did. But like that was just
probably
awesome. And then that really pretty section, that was my favorite song on the album by miles, I would say. I really enjoyed that.
This is significantly more indicative of what they normally sound like than Fishhook was.
Interesting. And I loved the strings in there. I thought at first the brass was real. But then when you said, I was listening to it a little bit more and I was like, I don't know, there would be no reason. If you had a real trumpet player or a real brass section come in, they wouldn't play that. They would play something probably a bit more. So you wouldn't just, unless one of the guys in the band just happens to play trumpet and they recorded.
Yeah, it'd probably be much more forward in the mix. Like you bring in someone like that and it's to like make them be the centerpiece of a song, I would say.
Yeah, or use it more like the strings were. Like you could really tell the strings were in there, but the brass was just like a single note here and there to kind of emphasize.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. I don't even know if I, for 100%, would have thought about it if you hadn't said anything.
Yeah.
Like it was just a texture thing.
It was, but it was. See, that was right when I was talking about Japanese metal, and in Japanese metal, like they absolutely would just have a dude come in with a trumpet and record one note. Like that is absolutely a Japanese metal thing. So,
but like, listen to this and think about the parallels between this and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like
right?
In music type,
right? Which is a band I know very, very, very little about, just what you've shown me as well. But I also know a band that you like a lot. It makes total sense then, along with this. So.
Have we talked about Distrage or Distrage or however you say that?
Yes, Chris, we listened to you showed me one of their songs when we were in the hospital last year. When we were doing a reaction to like just some random stuff. That's what that reminded me of. Yeah.
And that's anyway.
Yeah, no, similar kind of thing, for sure.
I never thought that about those Japanese metal bands that you listen to, but
maybe
I'll try it.
The loose
no,
feeling?
not that. That's what you would think of.
With the,
I mean, I get some of the musical stuff. Also, like you're being a music guy today. Like you're talking about music, not audio.
Production.
It's weird.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Next time, I feel like the next song you're going to start talking about what the lyrics are about.
Oh, I was thinking about the lyrics in this one a lot.
What's wrong with you? You feeling all right, bud?
Well, every single song he's mentioned that someone's being a dickhead, and I'm just like, we have the whole English language to work with, and you're
not
how
enough
old
people
are you?
using the word.
Are you still in?
That's right.
I don't know. See, I don't feel about it that way, but it's not ruining anything for me because I don't care about the lyrics. But when I am paying attention to them, I'm just and even like it's funny too because we were talking about nostalgia and listening to Sum 41 in our last conversation between those songs, and then that song was basically about like being nostalgic and stuff from the lyrics I was getting.
You are listening to the lyrics.
Yeah, I've a couple. I mean, here and there. It depends where
You need to go take your temperature?
There's one song on this album is very sad. I caught it the first time I listened to it.
Interesting.
So
okay,
I care about that if you want, I guess. But
yeah. So Chris Parker, how is you when I said this was my favorite song on the album so far, you were like agreeing you like this one too?
Yeah, completely agree.
And this is more indicative of Protest the Hero. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they use strings occasionally, otherwise, and they also have synths and other stuff in the past. And there's some like the squeaky vocal thing in that one very specific like staccato vocal thing that I think was the thing that sparked you into Japanese metal. Like that is a new thing that he's never really done before.
Okay.
And some other stuff. So he's throwing some new vocal stuff around in this album for sure. There was a there was like a shout, scream singing, Rise Against almost type thing that he did one of the earlier songs.
In the first song,
really
I noticed
style.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, I noticed it. I was like, "Ooh, that's different from everything he's done in that song up to that point." Yes, I love that. I love a vocalist that's really versatile for sure.
Yeah.
Since the first track, we've gotten none of the like guttural type of thing.
They have at least one album where there is none of that at all, and it's Scurrilous, which I think is their best album.
Interesting.
Absolutely perfect, top to bottom, fantastically good.
So would you say this album with the 3 songs we've heard so far is a little lighter than they have heavier albums?
Yeah, it's all very mathcore in the same way. That second song is much lighter fare than pretty much anything else that I've heard from them, really.
Okay,
in
interesting.
That realm. So, based on the sum of the parts that we've gotten so far, yes.
Now, I don't know if you would know this off the top of your head, but like, is it generally the same guys that have been in this band the whole time?
Mostly yes, but also kind of no. Like, they've had some turnover for sure, but it's not like a band that is just one dude and 50 guys that have cycled through over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Like, according to Wikipedia, they've only had 3 previous members that were there and are not anymore.
Okay.
But it also lists current members as just being 2 people. So it's kind of all over the place.
Interesting. Okay. So if that's the case, then is this one of those bands where like one person is kind of in charge of everything and doing a lot of it himself, and then?
I know. I mean, Rody Walker is definitely like the lead head of the band, but I don't know how much he is responsible for in terms of like music writing,
music stuff,
because he doesn't play any instruments. He's just a vocalist. Mm-hmm. And I'm under the impression that guitarists usually write the music for the most part.
Okay.
Onward.
Onward to track. We're on track 5 now. This is.
Hold on, give me just a second. Don't.
Yep. Oh, and this one has a couple different people that it's featuring. Mm-hmm. Jadia Kelly and Chris Cresswell. Do we want to look up who those people are? Chris Cresswell.
Yeah, Chris Cresswell is.
He's got 2 albums, one from 2014, one from 2023. It says Chris has been writing and releasing music since before
Kelly
he was legal to drive. He was in the band.
The credits.
He was in a punk quartet called the Flatliners. So that's, I guess, whoever he is. That's the Chris Cresswell guy.
Interesting.
And then
Jadia Kelly she has done vocals for them in the past, guest vocals, mostly on. Well, she did it on Volition and on Pacific Myth, for sure. And I really like her voice a lot.
Looking at her album covers, I can see she's released just on Spotify here. She has an album from 2010, 2013, 2017, 2022, and 2024. And her album covers make it look like she is a country singer? Pop, punk, indie? Indie country singer, it looks like.
It's not really country. It's more of just like folk, I would say.
Okay,
just based on, I went through and I listened to a handful of songs from her 2024 album, Weather Girl.
Canadian music.
Yeah. But it definitely is like this chick, I feel like she just has to be like friends with these guys in some capacity. But maybe it is that's cool. Canadian, like fellow Canadian artist kind of thing. Because like, I don't know, she's been on their albums forever and she clearly is not anywhere near as big as they are, so it might just be someone they know, but she's great.
They're just trying to win a loony or whatever.
She's probably married to one of the guys in the band, so you can just let us know in the comments about that. Okay, so I'm excited if this has female vocals on it, and if this Chris Cresswell guy also does extra vocals, then I'm really excited. We'll have big gang vocals on this one, and I love female backing vocals always. All right, this is The Orchard in 3, 2, 1. Chris, do you remember that Bear Ghost band that I brought up? Yeah. This reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Or Ghost Bear. I don't remember if it's Bear Ghost or Ghost Bear.
I think it's Bear Ghost.
Those gang vocals sound stupid.
This part's really cool.
The guitar part's cool.
Yeah, just like
It's got kind of a college rock vibe.
yeah, it's so it's interesting.
Our hearts are warmed by nostalgia. Our houses adored by mementos, and nobody knows. They just don't seem to care about
Yeah, interesting.
anywhere. And now we climb so high, so that we might hide. We couldn't put the flare out. And now we climb so high that
Bass sounds good on this record. Let's get a little rattle here and there. It's nice.
Yeah,
Those are vile.
yeah. It's like
The part is bad, but like
it's because they're all doing unisons. I mean, they're not
I
shouting
don't
either.
think. No.
It's like three different
And
people.
and they didn't. They probably tracked it live because they didn't go up in time align stuff. The first one especially, or the second time they did it, like the end, they all ended at different times. It was.
Oh, I hate that crap.
Ugh.
Well, they probably recorded it on just one track or a couple tracks.
Let's all stand around the microphone. It'll be fun. That's fine, part. That's
Yeah.
fine.
That's probably Chris Cresswell.
I have heard 0 female vocals on this. Hey, a solo being treated like a
first one.
solo.
Is that the female vocal?
Yeah, I think so. That okay.
Looks like they left in the middle of the night.
Okay, this is cool.
They left everything behind.
Ooh, I love this sort of clean guitar. That's
The guitar
cool.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Driveway is overgrown. There's ivy on the rooftops and moss grows over bone.
That's the part from Driver's License.
I get that reference. Okay, so that was there were some rough parts there. When she came in at the end, I do not think it sounded very good when the song was still going. I think the outro of the song was really cool and I liked that. And I think it was neat. It was like a really different thing and a cool way to end the song. But I think I do agree with Chris. The background vocals during that one part, they repeated it twice before
3
the
times.
ooze at the end. Did they do it all 3 times? Well, they did it the first time. They did it twice in the first chorus, we'll just say, and then they did it second time in twice again the second chorus.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't think they did it again because after the ooze started, they didn't go back to that part. I don't think.
The ooze were fine.
I think
except for
ooze,
except for those words they sang at the end of the ooze.
right, which I don't. And
Those should have been gutturals.
So here's
That should have been whatever. That would have been cool.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, here's what I think was happening there, and I mean,
Chris likes that song. That's Chris's favorite song on the record.
It's not.
Okay.
well, that's okay. I mean, you butt in and tell me what you think at any time. But what I was going to say is, to me, I'm usually the one talking about it, but I talk about having the intensity of the vocals has to match the intensity of the music, and that doesn't mean you have to sing like harshly over metal. You can still sing clean vocals, but they have to be as intense as the music, whether it's intensity like guttural or however, but even intense emotional. even emotionally intense, right? But they just their parts sounded very half-assed. It sounded very half-hearted. Right? And so like the lead vocalist is going and then they're just going and it's like three dudes tracked twice, one panned left, one panned right, all doing identical parts, and they're not shouting. You know, so far on the album, background vocals have been like shout da 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 da, like they've been actually gang shouty vocals. This was more of a singy part. And it didn't match the intensity of what the song called for. Is what I'm saying was what felt off a little bit about it. What do you think, Chris? You think that's plausible? Chris Parker.
I don't know. It's like a crowd fill kind of a vocal
but they didn't
structure,
have enough takes in there to make it sound like a crowd. Like I think if they would have
and I don't think it was supposed to sound like a crowd, but it's the same mechanism that you would have.
It would have been better if it would have, though.
Yeah, I think
That's
if
fair.
it was, I think if they had more takes, which they could have easily done, and then just like maybe made it more reverby and obviously like not cavernous as exactly, but like more like it doesn't have to
bigger.
Be. Yeah, I also think it would have been better if they were more shouting it, but they didn't do it. They didn't approach it that way, which is fine. And maybe they were trying to like stitch that part to the end of the song when her vocals came in, because I was really curious how she was going to sing on that. I mean, obviously I didn't know what she was going to sound like, but once I heard her at the end, I thought, I don't think there's any way that this lady could sing with this band and have it not be like, I don't know if she can sing in any style other than the way she was singing there.
That's pretty much the only style I've heard from her on previous albums as well.
Yeah. So like, does she only sing like completely different sounding like parts like she did at the end here?
No.
Does she sing with him sometimes and like do harmony vocals and
sometimes
stuff?
there's one song where they do a back and forth.
Okay,
like
interesting.
Call and response kind of thing, and then they flip it, and then they do call and response the opposite direction.
Okay, that's cool.
Drumhead Trial is a really great example of that from Volition.
Okay,
Not
interesting.
necessarily call and response thing, but just like her singing with the flurry of the full music still happening.
Sure. And I mean, that was my first time hearing her, and she was singing very softly at the end of the song, which is what it called for. That's what the outro of the song was. So I didn't know if she was. I'm sure she's a pro singer, so I mean she can probably sing with different styles, but like she would have to sing differently than she was singing there in order to fit inside of a metal song. I think so, but I think that to me that's what it was that sounded. I liked the way the song started, and then the two times throughout the song, and then kind of at the end there they did it a little bit on the like more of a clean part, but the starting right away with the like more complex. I don't know if complex, but the faster part. And then the guitars around it being a little bit more simple and consistent rather than like a choppy riff. It was just like a sound, a white noisy wall, and then inside of it was wrapped inside of it was the and I thought that sounded really nice. I loved the way that was mixed. I thought that sounded really nice. It was right in the middle, which means it was basically in the area where the vocals sit. But the vocals, there's so many tracks going when the vocals are going on this. It's hard to even say that the vocals are existing in the middle, because they really don't. The vocals exist at all times in the middle, and then about like 60% wide at all times. And then
I hear what you're talking about, but I don't know. I think it's done well.
I'm not saying that it's not done well. I just think that, to me, his vocal parts would have more impact if they played around a bit more with having less of a cacophony of vocals at all times, and having more parts where there were fewer vocal parts happening at once. Because one of my problems with music like this is that it is hard to tell at any given moment what section of the song you're in. And I know that this is just my personal opinion thing and not a musical thing, not a production thing. So take it with a grain of salt because it's just my opinion. But I like it when you can clearly differentiate sections of songs, and you can tell. I don't have to tell where we're going in a song, but I want to be able to follow the journey of the song along the path. And it's cool if you take like a turn here and there and everything, but like to just jump from one path to another path to another path. One thing that they could do to help separate those sections would be to treat the vocals differently from section to section, but they're not really doing that as much. When he is singing in the verses, it is like double tracked in the middle with a harmony vocal, but multi-tracked, panned wide, constantly, always. And then the gang vocals are coming from a completely different place. They are spread wider, as they should be. But it just feels like the treatment of the vocals is very consistent throughout the song, with the exception of the bridges. The bridge in this song as well, where the music came down, and every song we've heard so far, when the music comes down and there is acoustic guitar, or there's like a little break, or when the strings came back in, the vocals, the wideness of the vocals goes away and it's more focused in the middle. And I think they could do that more in the heavier sections of the song, the more chaotic sections of the songs as well. And then it would help differentiate from part to part. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I know there's a lot of words to say, but I was trying to explain the way I feel about it. Because I know I'm sounding like I'm complaining about the vocals a lot. And I do think that what they're doing well. I just don't agree with the decision to have it be that way constantly.
Kitchen sink production guy doesn't like the kitchen sink production.
You know, I'm getting, you know, I'm
But you know what? I will say this before we listen to the next song. Like when people say, and nobody's watching by this point, we're 2 hours in, but
hour and 39 minutes.
Wolfie Soupy's here, and Lazar Looney, however you say your name. I know that you're watching all
Lazar
this.
Luna.
Lazar Luna, and also my student James is probably watching this too.
Turn that crap off.
So those three people, this is for you. But like, it is. And I'm not just saying this because I'm defensive, and I also know that I'm not that great at music and that I am not that great at mixing or producing. Otherwise, I would be doing that for a living instead of what I do for a living. But I think, in fact, it's when something's pretty much well done, because all the bass stuff of this is done. All the sounds are good. The musicians are good. Like, and most of the music that you listen to, that is the case. All the bassline stuff is taken care of, right? It's not like we're struggling with a kick drum that was recorded wrong, right?
Correct, right.
Or somebody that can't play. Like that's not a problem here. When that is, all of that stuff is taken away, which is what gets messed up on lower budget local band recordings, is that something was done incorrectly and people can't play and people don't know what their instrument is supposed to sound like. But then you can actually hear the decisions that need to be made. And like, you're allowed to have an opinion on that, even if you're bad. Like it's easier if you're listening to a bad recording. Like if it was a bad local band and they went and did crappy background vocals like this, you wouldn't say anything about it because there'd be no point.
Right.
Because it'd be like, everything else sucks. So who cares that the background? Who cares the background vocals don't end at the same time? Like you probably wouldn't even notice it. But in this, where like all the bassline stuff is like, I don't mean like beep doop boop boop baseline. I mean, like
BASE.
the basic stuff that is taken care of. Like then you actually, because you can't. Kids show me that crap at school all the time. They'll show me this absolute garbage song produced absolutely by like musicians who have no idea what they're doing. They've never listened to anything. They never mixed. There's all of these things wrong with it, and they're like, well, like, how do you think that I, mixed in that new acoustic guitar that came in on the bridge? And I'm like, bro, who cares? Like, I'm glad that you had fun with your finger paints, but like, let your mom hang it up on the fridge for 2 weeks and then go throw it away and make something better. Like,
okay, hold on. People say that I'm pretentious. That's the most pretentious thing that's ever been said on this.
No, I think the same thing about my stuff.
No,
like there's absolutely stuff that like,
yes, but you're the teacher. Your point is to be there to teach them that, not to say go play with your finger paints in the corner.
The
I know
lesson
that's not
that's
what
being taught is how important it is to be able to be all right with making garbage. Like,
and you have to make the garbage.
For sure. I agree with that.
You can't go out first time and songwrite, play guitar, record, mix, master, whatever, and do this. Like, nobody has ever done that the first time doing any of those things.
No.
We have all made filth. Infinite.
tons.
And
Hours
that's
of
the
filth.
important thing. You have to make the filth. You have to flush the filth out.
You have to practice. You have to.
Yes.
You have to.
You could also say that.
Yeah, you have to practice, and you have to like get the. Yeah, absolutely, you have to get things wrong. But a trial and error.
But you can't go in and zone in if you're
Right,
listening
and
to
say,
some
how do I
absolute
fix
crap.
this? Right, I see what you mean. Yeah,
I think I think that the EQ on that one guitar part is a little bit weird. Can you help me with that? Like, no,
Right.
just
It's like
move
we don't
on.
need to worry about getting the stains out of the couch, man. The house is on fire. Like,
Yeah, right. Yes.
That is exactly
Yes.
that is
Yes.
the point I am making.
100%. Okay, I get it. Totally. I totally get what you're saying now. 100%.
But when your house is pristine, when it's the house that Tim Henson lives in, and there's a stain on the couch, like the background vocal's not ending at the same time, then you can go address the problem of the stain on the couch.
yeah, Yep,
You'll
for
probably
sure.
just buy a new couch.
Yeah, for sure. If you're Tim Henson, yeah. Yep. Okay, let's move on to these next two tracks we'll listen to together. This is 2 Below, which is actually track 6, and then we'll listen to Liberty Spike as well. Okay, this is track 6 in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I was very curious what we were going to get here, if it was more strings or... Do they do like instrumental pieces on their albums sometimes to connect
Less
songs?
separately like this. There'll usually be like the outro of a song will become very orchestral and like
Okay.
flowery this way.
Okay,
But
interesting.
this is the first time that I've known them to have like a full 2 tracks that are just
Okay.
this fantastic thing that this is.
They've been listening to Polyphia.
I was gonna say, speaking of Polyphia, yeah. Dude, did you know that's one of our highest viewed videos on our channel, Chris?
You were unhinged. I was reasonable.
All I said was that he looked like Justin Bieber, and people crawled out of my computer screen to punch. They still do.
It was like The Ring.
I called him a tool. And boy, did people not like that. Okay. Liberty Spike.
Was not the mastering decision that should have happened right there. It should have, bam! Should have done that.
There it was, yeah.
This is a sweet riff.
News breaks like early morning, the sun cuts through the sky. Maybe it's worthy to aid in the awakening of my unconscious mind. And I know things move slow, but when time is
I will say, since you were saying bass line, I want to listen to the actual bass line now more. Not much definition to it at all.
No, but when he plays fills and stuff,
Yeah.
like either they're automating it or he's playing it better. Because there are times where it's like, oh, that's a very
Does
nice little
stand out.
bass
Okay.
line right there.
I'll listen for that.
protecting my finger and doing something to wipe away the hurt. A second song from my first friend who's lost his time is permanent. I fell asleep first. When I woke up, you were sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up. What did you dream of? 'Cause never in my wildest dreams could I imagine you wouldn't wake up.
This is the sad song.
Yeah.
Are there strings in there with that? It sounded like there was an extra element in there,
I think so, yeah.
but I couldn't really discern a specific separate part. This is a cool riff. Oh. Oh. Sounds like he's burping.
It's not great, but I like it.
Do you think he recorded that in one take?
Yeah.
It sounded like it.
It does kind of sound like he did, which that's impressive.
Every moment's wasted since this first began. I was never gonna reach out, but now I never can. I fell asleep first. When I woke up, you were sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up. What did you dream of?
Interesting.
'Cause never in my
He does the vibrato on his lead vocal, but not any of the background vocals, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
This is the most theatrical sounding song, I think.
Times are changing, but you remain static through it all. I wish I sent a message or made a call.
These drums sound awesome.
Yes.
They really do.
You're a big snare guy. Yeah, you are.
Best instrument.
Yeah.
Best instrument
You've
ever.
said that before, yes.
Soft glow on the screen. You're staying up all night while I was fast asleep.
That's the best his vocals have sounded the whole album.
I was gonna say they changed the production style there, Patrick.
Hey brother, I can help you if you come to me. I love you more than anything I've ever seen.
That riff is awesome.
That you said to me,
I'm stuck on the vocals.
words that you wrote. And I miss you more than anyone I've ever known.
Piano, by the way, in there. Really nice.
Hey brother, I can help you.
Ooh.
If you come to me, anything I've ever known.
Boom.
I always been a sleeper. When I woke up, you were sleeping.
That's a second missed opportunity
To not
on
have a
going
solo.
back into a chorus. Like, why does it? It's just going bam.
Imagine you wouldn't wake up. Wake up. I must be dreaming, it's a nightmare. Please let me wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Please, oh, please wait. You were so much braver and so much stronger. I wish that I could have held on longer. But I will light a torch in the dark before the dawn. And I will think of you each time I sing this song. If your memory's alive in me, you'll never
Chris Parker, what's your thoughts on that one?
I like how at the end he didn't say the word gone. He stopped.
Okay.
So that was
Okay.
neat. Neat choice. I don't know. I don't have a ton of thoughts on that. I'm better at building off of other people's thoughts.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to start because I thought quite a bit of that was pretty cheesy. Like really, like more so than I've thought this whole time. There was a lot of vocal overlapping, which I think sometimes can be okay, but sometimes it bothers me. Like when you go from chorus into verse or from verse into chorus, the vocals shouldn't overlap when you're going from one section of a song to another section. Now, within the section of it, like at the end, when it got quiet and he was doing the multiple vocal parts at the same time, thought that was really nice. But there were a few points where it felt like they just had too many words to fit into the rhythm they were trying to make. And so they're like, oh, well, we have to, this has to be pre-chorus and this has to be post-chorus. And so they just have to kind of overlap each other, which sounded a little clunky to me. And then I had a thought when we were listening to that, and I haven't talked about the theatricality that I'm getting from this. But it actually, that whole song specifically really reminded me of something Cody and I were talking about when we were listening to the most recent Deer Hunter album that we reacted to on the channel here. And Cody, we were listening to it, and Cody was like, this song just sounds like something that should be performed like on a stage with people in costumes. And that is that is the vibe I'm getting from a lot of this album, vocally especially. Musically, not really, obviously so much. But like vocally, it just seems like he is acting as he's singing. Like it feels like he has to have the correct emotion on his face when he's singing. And I personally that is the thing that I really despise about show tunes and like stage performance stuff like that. Like if you have to act while you're singing, I hate that. I hate it. Now, this hasn't been like so. I don't hate this. I do not hate this song. I don't hate this band. I don't hate this album. But that song in particular really made me feel like I could very easily imagine him standing on stage and doing the movements to what he's singing as he's doing it. And the movements that would accompany the way he is singing would be very theatrical movements. It would be very like this. And I just really hate that. I hate it. And I've thought that kind of throughout the album. And when I say theatrical, that's kind of what I mean, is like the way they're presenting the vocals is very theatrical to me. And that's probably just his style. It's just a stylistic choice. But now that we're at getting to the end of the album, I have to bring it up and mention it and say, like, I do not like that aspect of this band at all. Which is kind of a bummer. Like the message of that song, I could tell right away it was the sad one, and I was paying attention to the lyrics a little bit, but then the further the song went on, and I like everything that's happening. It's kind of like when our Trivium videos, Chris, where it's like there's just something in this, or there's something missing from this that would make me like this a lot more than what it is. But I do feel like in this case, it's almost like there's the elements of this band don't fit together in a way that works for me. Like, I really like the technicality of the guitars, and I like what they're doing, and I like how they are playing around with something that can be pretty or like beautiful and at the same time really complex underneath it. But very few moments so far have we felt that I thought were like heavy at all, which is very surprising. And but that's not, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Do you kind of get what I'm saying about the theatrical nature of it, though?
I think that not liking something because you don't like picturing them going like this when they sing is a really weirdly specific thing to hate.
Well, I don't care what movements they're doing, but just
There's a story there.
No. No, like I've said before, show tunes are like my least favorite genre of music.
Oh, I know, and I'm with you on that, but I've never once thought in my mind.
Show tunes rip.
Right. But the thing to me about it that I don't like about show tunes is like the cringy physically performative aspect of it. Now,
You just need to watch more.
I disagree with that wholeheartly. I don't want to watch any of it.
Oh, I don't know. I think that I'm the same way. Like I thought that, and now I've seen much more musical theater in the last decade of my life than I did in the.
And you appreciate it more now?
I love it.
Interesting. Okay, maybe.
I mean, like I don't want to like go out and watch like every single thing.
Sure.
But, like I absolutely understand why people like it. And like when I go do the couple musicals I do every year, like when I work them.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I love them. I have like such a good time doing it. And it's partially because there's like 40 people all working on this thing together and none of us are getting paid. And it's like, it's just super fun and it's a worky thing and all that. But like the actual shows, like every time we get done with the show, the kid that's helping me turn pages, like if it was even decent, like we stand up at the end and we fist bump and I'm like, hell yeah. Because I feel like, hell yeah. Like, yeah, man. That was sweet. But,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, for me, it's I just feel like for this again, this is just like I was saying before. This is just my personal opinion about all of this, obviously, but like I really find it super cringy if you can tell someone's acting. Like I really dislike that. And sometimes I'll be watching a movie or a TV show and I'll be like, oh man, this person is trying so hard to like be nominated for an Oscar right now, and I hate that. I just hate it. And I understand it's all acting and whatever. And there's different style. You can watch, like I thought until I started watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, Chris, you and I have talked about this. When I started watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, I was like, oh, I didn't realize people could just like act natural in a black and white movie. Not in a Hitchcock, he intentionally made movies black and white. It doesn't matter. But like, when
but I know what you mean. Like North by Northwest really struck me for this same reason, where I was like, I cannot believe how contemporary this movie from 1956 feels.
Right. Birds to me is the same thing, which I think that was a little later.
Love Birds.
But like the acting in that is so natural. Whereas when you see almost any like I've said before on the channel here, I really love Doris Day. I think she's a really cool person and I love her movies and stuff. But like the style of acting in her style of acting is what I'm talking about. So for me, she's like an exception to the rule. So like and inherently stage performances, they have to be over the top because you have to be performing for the person in the front row and the person in the back row. And that is at all levels of professionalism, right? Whether you're going to a high school play or whether you're going to a professional play. And so like, just the nature of theatrical performance is over the top just inherently because of the limitations of like what it is. And maybe I'm totally wrong with that. I have not experienced a lot of this stuff.
You're absolutely dead on.
Yeah, and that's the part of it that makes me cringe. It makes me feel like a person no, that's a bad analogy, so I don't even go there. But like that's the part of it that I don't like.
Nico on Corridor Crew just said a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about acting in movies, and he said everything that you do, especially when it comes to like stunts and action and everything, you have to knock it up at least 2 notches from where it would normally be to get it to seem normal on film.
Yeah.
And I found that to be interestingly true for a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with like physical performance. Like that's true in like music and stuff too, in a way that I don't remember how I connected them to each other. But I mean, I get what you're saying. It sounds to me like nothing in your life would be worse than being forced to watch Les Mis. Like
100%. Well, there's way worse things I'm sure than Les Mis. Like for example, Hamilton is something I never want to experience in my
Hamilton
entire
was
life.
My other thought.
But I don't know that much about it. But I never want to do that. But and also
every play I've ever gone to, whatever I felt about it on the way in, I walked out like that was fire. That was so awesome.
And I know a lot of people too who like, I worked in the Harry Potter fandom for 15 years now, right? So like I am very aware of theater kids and theater adults now and how they live their lives and they're
still kids,
crew and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Don't call them theater adults.
But, sorry. But you know what I mean. Theater people, thespians,
adult
if
theater
you will.
kids.
Thespians, if you will. Like I understand all that stuff and that's fine. And I'm really good friends with some people who like that is like their vibe, like 100% always turned on. And that's fine. I'm good friends with those people. But that person and I could not like be good best friends in real life. We can have a relationship via the internet working together for years. But we would never get along that way just because the inherent nature.
Because sometimes they'll just decide to start singing with their full body in the middle of like a store.
Or they never stop dancing and singing.
Be near you.
Yeah. But it's okay. So to bring it back, I hear that in this. Now, maybe that's totally me projecting, but that's what I associate with this style of vocals. Like I think the same thing of Ludo. I think the same thing of Weird Al, right? Would Weird Al songs be the same if he wasn't like acting in all of his songs? That's what makes them funny in a lot of cases. And so
you don't like theatrical music?
No, I've never said that I do. No. But the most I can think you can have theatrical elements in things. I don't like theatrical vocals. I don't think across the board.
You don't like people who sound like they're going like this when they're singing,
or like this specifically.
Let's talk about Amy Lee for a moment.
It's the flourish. Hey, you're right.
Her voice is literally doing
her whole persona is just.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. But we had a big conversation in the last Evanescence video about how Amy Lee has a big girl voice, and her big girl voice I think trumps the theatrical nature of it. But also she's I don't personally hear the theatrical like the over the top theatrical nature of her voice. To me, that would be closer to almost more like opera, which I feel is much more leaning on the technical side of singing rather than the theatrical side.
Literally theater.
I think I would enjoy an opera more than a play.
I feel like opera is like the most distilled, no water added to your juice version of what you're complaining about.
I would agree.
I mean, I don't know very much about operas. I only know some of the music from it, and I would much rather listen to a song from an opera than I would from Hamilton or whatever.
Here's a question.
So,
are there any women that you can think that do this thing that you don't
that are too theatrical? That's a great question. That's a good question, and will probably expose me for being sexist.
Well, no,
I know. People just say that no matter what I say.
Because I feel like the discomfort comes from watching a man.
No. There are. I'm not going to probably reference anybody that you know. There are some symphonic metal vocalists, but specifically the lady that sings for Battle Beast, but they are like a power metal band that is just happened to be fronted by a female singer. So like she sings with she sings like this right into her hand. Because
that seems because there you go. That's an opera, and it seems like something that Nightwish would be.
I did it bad. Nightwish. That's operatic.
Nightwish.
That's opera style. But I don't think I'm just disconnect in my brain opera and we're going too deep on this. I would love to discuss this again in the future, but I definitely think there's definitely women singers, female singers that I can think of that do this as well. But again, we've gone down a big rabbit hole. I want to protest the hero. Let's listen to the last song and then we'll talk more.
Let's talk about it the next protest album we do, because there's a couple that I would really like us to do.
Yeah, I definitely
just like their highest peak of excellence.
Sure. Yes, I'm 100% willing to do that. 100%, and I'll think about this conversation more. Okay, so track 8, the final track on the album. Will this give us final song vibes? Or will this just sound like another random song that could have been anywhere on the album? We will see. This is the longest one by a couple of minutes. So, this is The Mariner in 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Awesome. Love it. Wow, those guitars. I like the spankiness of the guitars, the twanginess of them. Oh, interesting. Listen to that bass here. Ooh, synths.
I don't recall a single moment louder than this moment now.
Oh, I love this. Triangle. Dude, this sounds like a totally different band right now. That bass is massive. And those flourishes of technical sweeping guitar just catch me off guard every time. Interesting.
Dragon Force.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard any of their albums either, but we're going to definitely do that one with Through the Fire and Flames on it.
I can dig some Dragon Force, absolutely.
Acoustic guitars are back.
It's the same sound from the...
Yes, treated the same way.
And it filled my lungs with breath.
The reverb is very pretty on there.
If storms cloud my horizon, as I float,
His voice sounds fantastic here.
I will hear your voices where the chorus meets the shore. At the end of it all, whatever that is, I'll have something to hold, and I am grateful.
His voice on this song is reminding me of another band, and I cannot place it.
When they needed it most, I just want you to know I am grateful.
I also want to shout out the lack of like auto-tuning his voice.
You don't need that.
This is very epic. I mean, this is epic.
I am grateful.
It's just a minute-long ring out.
Do you know what this sound is in here, Chris? What that was from?
Mm-mm.
Be interesting to find that out.
It's probably a hockey thing.
Do you know what the origin of their band name is as well? Because I would be curious about that.
No, but I can look it up.
Love it. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I don't know if I needed the last minute of that, but
Yeah, but
they paid the string players.
Yeah, it made that was a final track vibes for sure.
Yeah,
I really like that one.
For that.
That was probably my second favorite song on the album. I think was the and Grandfather's Axe was the one I liked the most. I think, then Mariner, then probably Liberty Spike, then Fishhook, then Mouthpiece, maybe Mouthpiece, then Fishhook. And I don't care about the 2 instrumental tracks, though I like that they were there. I think that they were there, and I think that they served a purpose to like break up the chaoticness. So I really liked those a lot, and I am happy that they were on their own individual track rather than just being what they did on that last track. You know, because they could have done that to the track. You know, the track 2 could have been 7.5 minutes long, and they tacked that onto it, like you were saying, Chris. So I'm pretty happy that they have them on separate tracks. Interesting. Now, I will say, we talked a lot between the songs, which I think is good. We had good conversation. But I do think the album still did feel a wee bit short to me. There could have been... That last song was so epic and big feeling to me. And, like, not big. It felt big like the rest of the album. So mix-wise, it didn't feel bigger. But it just felt more epic, and it was really crescendoing and climaxing really nicely. And I could have had another song kind of like that earlier on in the album as well. Like another big, long, chunky song. I would also, and I don't know if they ever do this, but I would love an all like acoustic song or a piano song or something just from this band, and have the whole song be like a ballad. That would be really awesome.
Don't think they have any of those. And this is
Okay.
I would say this is the first time they've ever done like a big sweeping like 8-minute epic too. This is very
cool then.
new as well.
So I would assume that you love that song?
I do like it. Yeah. I think, I mean, it doesn't, I don't know. I like it, but it didn't.
Okay, it's not your favorite on the album.
It's nothing
Okay.
crazy special. I kept thinking back to the last song on Palimpsest, which is Rivet, which is like partially like I think a Bing Crosby song from the 30s or something. It like samples it like not directly, but like in the way that it's written.
Sure.
And it's so cool. I really love it a lot.
That
It's my
sounds
favorite
really
song
cool.
on that album, I'm pretty sure.
So I would like to hear your thoughts on this album overall, being the biggest Protest the Hero fan we've got here.
I like it better than I remember. Like, I really struggled to get into Pacific Myth, I think it's what it's called. Pacific Myth, yeah. And their first album is kind of a little bit too first album for me, but it's not as good. But otherwise, like Scurrilous and Volition and Fortress are all better albums than this one, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is kind of lower
This
on
might
lower.
sound the best. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Palimpsest 2, I think, is probably a better album. It's really good.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and re-listen to it, like analytically to see how, like, which one of them all sounds the best. But this sounded great.
Now, you mentioned that you think there's a couple you think would be good to do reactions to. Those would be which ones?
Probably Scurrilous and Fortress. Scurrilous is my number one from them. It's one of those perfect albums front to back. I think they both are really, but Volition 2 is that. Those first 3 albums are just unstoppable. Well, I guess the 2, 3, and 4 because Kezier's their first one.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Wow. Okay, that's curious. I would have thought you would have said an earlier one. I don't know why I think that, but that's cool. Interesting. Okay, Chris Schoenberg. Then, what's your overall feelings with this?
It would have been considerably better without Fishhook and The Orchard.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I would have liked The Orchard more had Fishhook not happened. I don't know. That's hard. Those background vocals were just unbearable. That was just so bad. Like, wake up in the morning and listen back to what you did at 2 o'clock in the morning and decide, we got to redo that. Like, we can't put that on the record. Like, that's what happened. Like, you can tell that they were having fun, but like, they were having too much fun. Which is fine. That's the one you put up in the Google Drive and text your friends. But then if you really wanted to make this good, it would have been a 3-song EP where it would have been tracks 1, 4, maybe 7 and 8. Definitely 8.
Okay.
4 tracks. 1, 4, 7, 8. That and the other things, like the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. Those two songs were those were awful. That was bad. Why was that pop punk song on there? Who's listening to Protest the Hero for that?
I don't know.
Like,
and you think after 6
all the
years,
other stuff, like you can tell that they like pop punk.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really not.
I would say the biggest disappointment for me is that it's been 6 years since Palimpsest, and this is an 8-track album for 35 minutes. And Palimpsest is huge. It's 13 tracks. It's almost an hour long.
And if it was 7 songs that were like the last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever, from those pieces of the 4, I don't know, 4, 7, and 8. Grandfather Zach's Liberty Spike and the Mariner were probably my favorite ones. Maybe Mouthpieces, I don't know. But anyway. But why wasn't it all like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why wasn't there more of that? I wanted more weirds. I really liked it though.
Yes.
I did.
See, I don't think the stuff that you disliked on the album, like I don't think that the background vocals on The Orchard were like that bad. I don't think they're necessarily like wake up the next day and realize how bad you screwed up bad. I do think that that's the weakest song on the album. And I don't think it's because of her vocals at the end. I loved that part. So I do, just to be clear, I do think that the moment, I do think that was the weakest song in my opinion. I didn't have now that I've heard the whole thing, it is crazy that Fishhook was as different as it was. But now that I've heard the whole thing, I don't have a problem with it being on there. You know, I have obviously no preconceived like notions about like anything else this band's done. So like to me, that was just like, a really different song on the album. And so I didn't have any problem with that. And I'll bet if I listen to this album again, which I will listen to it at least one more time while I'm editing the video. But when I listen to it, I bet that song will probably stand out to me more, and I'll like it even more the second time. And I also think Mouthpiece probably will stand out to me even more, and I'll like that one more.
Yeah, I think so.
I do think Grandfather's Axe to me is the best one on the album. I really liked it was probably the heaviest like riff we heard, and then also the catchiest, maybe not catchiest, but like the more defined chorus. And I liked what they were doing, and it had a nice bridge section where it got quiet. Although almost all of the songs that were songs had a quiet moment in them, and I really appreciate that a lot. I also wanted to say too, I think this band feels very chaotic a lot of the time, and one of the reasons for that is the like technical fast playing on the guitars for sure. But I also think that there weren't as many moments on the album where the vocals just kind of like went away, and the music was allowed to just exist on its own for a little while, as I think there should have been maybe, because the chaotic nature of everything, and then like I was talking about earlier with the like barragement of, wide, like a lot of vocals all the time. It would have been nice to have the vocals go away a few more moments in the songs to separate the sections of songs maybe a little bit more. But every song did have, or at least I think every song did have like a really different sounding and very defined like bridge section where the song did completely change. And I really liked the like 2 or 3 moments across the album where everything went away and it was just like him singing with one track in the middle, very like different style of vocals, singing very pretty sort of sounding. I thought that was handled really well every time that happened, and I loved that every time it happened. I think this band also does a lot of which this is so stupid, but I've brought it up in other videos and I just want to really quick mention it. They do like complicated guitar chords. They're not just doing power chords when they're just holding chords and notes out over choruses. Do you know what I mean, Chris? Like it's not just a 3-note chord for a chorus. They're like, you can imagine them holding a really complicated thing with their left hand and like, like they do that kind of thing a lot, which always to me, I don't care for that as much when metal bands do that. That's like where more of like sort of mathiness of it comes in to me. I prefer the complexity of a song to come from, or of a band to come from all the things they're adding to the song that aren't just the instruments, which this band is not approaching their songs that way really very much at all. But the parts of the songs that did stand out to me a lot are when there was a few extra little synth things or the string stuff was really cool. But this band is also so different from a lot of the stuff we listen to here, like Metallica, for example, a band that doesn't use keyboards or anything. And they're more of like a riff-centric band. Whereas this band wasn't like a riff band really at all, right? It was more of a technical type of thing. It felt almost like dream-like at times. Like I would say pretty consistently throughout the whole thing, it had this like dreamlike quality to it, of like things overlapping each other with like moments of flurries in there. I kept mentioning that every time the song's going and all of a sudden there's just like a blah, 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 blah. It's like holy crap. Like I really like that. And I think the mix was done in such a way that it never stood out like a sore thumb. It always felt like it fit within the context of the song really well. And it never distracted from the vocals, I don't think. I think it all felt like it was sandwiched really nicely. Every layer was what it needed to be. And I think the volumes of everything were really nice. With maybe the exception of those background vocals that I do think was a little weird in the Orchard. So yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, do I like this or do I not like this?
Dislike. I'm just guessing.
No, it's tough because like I would say in general, if you were just his vocals, I would say in general, I don't care for them more so than I'd like them or think they're intriguing. But I think that he's a phenomenal singer. Really great control, obviously. And I wish there would have been heavier parts on the album that he could have used that scream more. It was only in 2 songs on the album. And the second time it came around, it was only barely there. So that first track really, I would have loved to hear vocals processed that way, or almost lack of processing on them, almost. I loved how they fit into the mix. It was very strange sounding to me. Almost like there was a hole that they were existing in. And then when they stopped, you didn't notice that the hole, because the hole wasn't there anymore. I don't know. That's a weird way to explain it. But I like the complexity of what was happening with the music. I think that there was really interesting stuff going on here, but I do think I would have to say my first impression of this band is that I wouldn't need to listen to more of it. I will definitely do more reactions, and I'm intrigued enough by it to see what their other stuff sounds like. And it's really interesting to me that, Chris, you would place this album in like the lower tier of their albums.
Yeah.
So that makes me really curious to hear what you think like their best albums would be like. Because if they're firing on all cylinders, if they were half firing or whatever, which I can see how this would be even extra frustrating to you as a fan, because like you said, they've had 6 years since their last album. Like why didn't they write more? Or why didn't they write,
it does, being such a long time and having so few songs from it, it feels a little bit like trying to get blood from a stone in terms of like, maybe they're tired. Maybe this is the, best that they could scrape together for putting out an album. Like, oh, we finally managed to do enough songs, but I don't know how that's how it works.
I think they wrote Grandfather's Axe and the last song, and then they wrote the rest of the album around it.
You think?
That's interesting.
I think that they wrote, like, I mean, especially the tracks 2 and 5. God, those are bad. I'm mad about listening to those now. I didn't think I was gonna be, but
okay.
But I like the rest of it. But I think that they wrote those 2 songs. And then they're like, "Oh crap! It's been 6 years."
Do they have any like side projects or anything? I wonder.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay, interesting. Okay, very interesting. Because I would almost think that like maybe if they had a side project like they bled into this, or sometimes bands just release music so they can go tour again, and they don't really care. And I'm not saying this is the case with this, but sometimes bands just release an album so they can go tour again. And the touring is really the thing that they're focusing on. But I don't think that this is bad enough to like even really guess about that. I don't know. I don't know anything about this band, but like this wasn't a bad album to me at all. The only thing I'm like saying is that like I don't think what they're doing is really for me. But I can't compare it obviously to anything else in their catalog or anything. So I can't speak to that.
I'm kind of surprised you liked it as much as you did, Patrick. I would say that that's not for you.
Well, the vocals, I think, but the music, I don't know. I thought it was more. I have listened to way more boring stuff, you know, and which is that's a low bar. But like I have listened to things I've hated way worse. But when we do reactions, you know, I try to focus on stuff that I like, stuff that I don't like, and people can tell from how I'm talking about it how much I like and don't like it. So I don't know. Chris, did you find out what the origin of their name is? Because I'm just curious about that.
Not really. It's pretty inconclusive. I don't know if they've ever stated the exact origin of where it came from.
Interesting.
It was the early 2000s, and it was verb the noun time. So
Kind of, yeah.
Verb the noun time.
The stuff that I found was a little bit like verb the noun, but like twisting it into it's like, you know, like good, the bad, you know, just something that's a little bit different. Sure.
Okay, well that's cool. I just thought maybe there was a neat story with it or something, but sometimes there isn't. It's just a cool phrase. Okay, well everybody, let us know what you think of this album. Let us know if you're big fans. I mean, sure, if you're watching this video and you're still here, you're probably an uber fan of this band, or you just accidentally left us on while you were driving in your car or something. But let us know. Let us know how you feel about this album and where you think it fits in their discography, and then if you think Chris is right and we should maybe go back and listen to the two that you mentioned, which were Fortress and Scurrilous, and then maybe even Volition in there as well.
For sure, yeah.
But let us know, and then also let us know, because I'm always curious about this. If you're typing any comment in about anything or how stupid I am and how I'm bald and fat and dumb, let me know what you think the best produced album is in their catalog. What's their best sounding album? Because I'm always curious what people say and if there's like a general consensus on that. Or if it's just, a lot of times it's people just saying, oh, my favorite album is this, so therefore it's their best sounding. But a lot of people who actually put thought into it, I really enjoy when it's like a band where people have different albums that they think are like when I ask people that in the Trivium videos, they're always like different. Everyone says a different album, which I think is very.
That's because they like the music.
That's probably the case for some people, but I'd like to think people.
There was a lot of
point.
discussion on that on the Discord, and people were, I think, being honest about it. And right, I like this, and Trivium's different. Trivium's different than Protest the Hero in that regard, as far as I understand it. But if there's one that you think, if there's one that you think sounds much better than this, you're wrong, because like records don't sound that much better than.
Yeah.
For what this is, like that's as good as it gets. Like what's going to be better?
Mm-hmm. It does sound really good, and I'm glad we mentioned Periphery, even however we were talking about them earlier, because now I do connect this almost more to Periphery now, just based on what I heard, and the one album from each band I've heard, I can now think of them kind of in the same vein a little bit, I think, even though they're very different. But so let us know that stuff in the comments. Check out everything. And like Chris has mentioned multiple times, go there and you can talk directly to us. Just tag us in it or whatever. We'll get right back to you. And I always try to get back to people who post stuff in the comments as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next time. What is this album called? Witness? It's called Witness.
Within.
Within. Okay, thank you. Within. Today, for the very first time, have either of you guys heard this yet?
Yeah.
You've both heard it already.
Not intentionally.
I only listened to it once before I knew we were doing this.
Okay. All right.